Hi, this is Martin from Martin's Engine Services. Just a quick video today on my Peta A1 engine, circa 1951. I actually bought two of these on a pallet and they were essentially basically pretty much scrap, having both been outside in the rain and the elements for many years. I stripped them both down and managed to acquire just enough parts from the two engines to build one good one. This did prove to be a somewhat interesting project, as one of the engines was a 1950 and this one's a 51, and at some point in late 1950 they changed an awful lot of the parts and such things as crankshaft, thrust washers and bits and pieces. So it turned a fair bit of jiggling was involved to get it all to fit together, and anybody who takes this apart in the future is going to be somewhat baffled as to exactly what they've got. It is a very sweet running little engine, and I'm rather pleased with the outcome. The air filter assembly is not standard. It actually came from, I can't remember where it came from now, a Villiers engine I believe, but I thought it looked quite good and quite period, as is the on-off switch, which is also from the Villiers. The starter handle I actually made because I couldn't actually find the right one, and when you can they want silly money, so it's got the old spring-loaded pawl inside and all the other parts. But one good feature on these engines as well is that this shaft free rotates until you push it in to engage it, and once it starts it then spins free, so there's no real risk of the thing kicking back and doing you some damage. The metalwork for the fan housing was in an appalling state, missing probably the bottom sort of 6 inch or 5 inches from about here down and all the way under. I actually made this up using the remnants from the old fan housing's top sections by cutting sections out from the scrap engine and grafting them in on the bottom. I left some of the welds and sort of like joins in there, so it looks sort of like period, and you can see it's been made out of two, but I think it's overall quite a nice effect. So amazingly enough, the fuel tank actually survived this ordeal, and apart from a little clean inside, was absolutely perfect. No leaks whatsoever, and I thought, well, that's normally never the case. Even that copper fuel line survived as well, and even remarkably enough, the fuel tap still worked. Quick clean-up and it still functions and it doesn't leak, which is pretty remarkable. And likewise, the magneto also cleaned up. No more than just a new wire and a new plug wire, and it worked perfectly. Wonders never cease. These Y-pack magnetos have a pulse start sort of system, they call it, which gives it an extra high voltage spark when you initially crank the engine. When you're working on these magnetos, be exceptionally wary of this, because it gives you a massive spark, about 4 times that of the normal running spark. And it's bit me on occasion, and I tell you, you'll know about it. The trolley is basically made from a couple of bits of an old fence post, a couple of wheels of a lawnmower, and basically, as usual with me, whatever I found in the shed. The handle is actually detachable and can be simply removed with this steel pin here and fitted onto a variety of other stationary engines, thus not needing to have handles on all of the trolleys. Another little engine that I rescued at the same time when I bought this pallet of broken engines or rusty engines was this poor little Briggs Stratton here. Around about 1973-74, no idea its exact model number because it's missing all its usual information, which is essential for finding parts on Briggs. And I basically wanted to see how much of a revival you could do on something that was extremely bad. It was completely corroded, rusted solid, no turnover, all the valves were stuck, fuel tank was rusted through, and the bottom of the fan housing was basically missing. All this underneath and around here and all where it bolts was completely gone. The recoil start spring had actually corroded away completely, and all the mechanism in here for the recoil was absolutely corroded solid. I managed to get it all apart, and surprisingly enough, everything cleaned up. I had to beat the inlet and exhaust valves up and down in the block to actually get them to free off. And all the aluminium cleaned up remarkably well. It does have a reduction gearbox on the back. I think it's about 3 or 4 to 1. And that all worked perfectly as well. I fitted a new recoil spring and sort of a couple of bits in the carburettor, new bit of string, and basically it. And a new head gasket, and everything revived, and it runs very, very sweetly. The fuel tank I managed to solder up the hole in the bottom, cleaned it out, and again that has survived remarkably well. It does burn little oil, to be fair to the poor little thing, but given the fact it was basically a festering piece of scrap when I found it, I just purely did it as an exercise to see what you could save with a bit of ingenuity. The ignition coil was badly corroded, and actually the wire had actually corroded out of the coil, so I carefully cut into it and soldered new wire in, cleaned up the points, and remarkably has a good spark and starts very reliably. In fact, that's even the spark plug that was in the engine when I got it. I cleaned it up and put it back, and it still worked. I made up the exhaust using a couple of plumbing fittings and a bit of tube and welding and whatnot, like I always do, and that's a very sweet little engine. So it was purely an exercise in what can you save if you really are determined. I'm very pleased with the little thing. These old Briggs and Strattons are an amazing little engine. They will take so much abuse and so much punishment and so little care, and just keep going and going and going, despite some more expensive engines would have given up a long time before these do. Anyhow, hope you enjoyed this short video on my 2 engines, and please like and subscribe. It helps get my numbers up. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.